So guys, I've been thinking about the script and thinking about how to evolve it, how to adapt it, and the ever ongoing editing process. It's something that you need to really think about when writing scripts. Is that your mind can change, is that your views and opinions on something can change, and it's a little bit different, for example, than writing any short story or writing a novel. In that, with a script, you really have to think about how everything's said and how everything's spoken. For example, when you read out a script, you really need to, understand your characters, know your characters, know the way that they speak and how they behave. And unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, your characters in your mind change over time and they evolve and adapt in the same way that the script does. So having to go back and kind of retrace your steps and really think about character traits and characteristics is a really important step. For example, I'm editing down Archie now. Archie is one of our, one of my favourite characters, but Archie is a smuggler, a Cockney trader of sorts, or certainly based upon anyway. Archie's voiced by the great Anna Chloe Murray, and I'm really thinking about how her voice specifically is going to complement the character and likewise the other way around. So what I've been doing is, as I said, going back and reading out to myself in a room on my own, and I've been really thinking about how Archie would talk, how Archie would speak, and trying to kind of stray from conventions, but not to the degree of unfamiliarity, because I want you guys to recognize these characteristics and these character traits as familiar yet appealing, not too conventional that they'll be forgotten. So I've also been watching this small video here by a channel called Think Story, and it's about writing strong characters. Now, this is obviously important in any story, in any form, and it's mainly talking about the distinction between want and need of a character. Now, quite interestingly, the narrator is talking about how the need of a character is often unknown, but the want of a character is the kind of face value driving force. And it's got me thinking about what the driving force is, not necessarily just for the characters that you as the player will experience, but you as the player. Now, the theme often is embodied by the need of characters. So what I'm thinking about is, how does this change? How does this change for the player, yourself, where I can't predict what you're going to be feeling throughout, although I am going to try and shape. And of course, part of me shaping that is by denoting things through the other characters, i.e. At the start of the game, you meet, as I'm sure or hopefully you're aware, a character called Finn, who is the rebel leader, and he will set you on a series of missions and tasks. The idea that you are performing for him, I think, is very important, because that's the driving force and that's the want. But your need as a player is to discover not only more about the plot, but about the world, about the game itself and how that works. So the differences between want and need for character and want and need for player in both film and game form are obviously very different. And I think it's quite interesting in shaping a script around that. Obviously, one of our main driving points is for you to experience these incredibly constructed or very interesting sound worlds and soundscapes that we're presenting to you. The plot and the story acts as a nice kind of glue for you to experience these different spaces and these different worlds with this kind of interesting storyline. So our themes within the game are light versus dark, good versus evil, power versus weakness. Some really strong, prominent themes that you see in a lot of different stories. Now, as players of a game are concerned, rather than watchers of a film, you will feel a part of this journey. You will feel a part of the power struggle. And in order to make that feel as effective as it can be, constructing the characters in the way that we are doing will really make you feel like you are a part of this world and a part of this plot. Whereas in a film, you're an observer, you're a watcher, and, you know, often the feeling of helplessness, which is, you know, sometimes employed by directors and writers as, you know, a means of manipulating emotion. This time what we're doing is we're plunging you into this story, and you will actively experience it moving around our different spaces, and will shape the world and shape the space that you are a part of. And that's a really interesting concept as far as you know, player or viewer emotion is concerned. We've been thinking recently about more content to give you guys, other ways of helping us deliver, you know, really fun stuff for you that's going to help contribute to the world lore. And specifically, we came up with a short story series or a radio play. And what we're going to be doing for you is we're going to be writing and recording and just generally creating these short radio plays that explain about how Dusklight became Dusklight. How the catastrophe happened, what happened in the first years that Dusklight was under development. And we really want to give you enough information about this world so that when you go into the game, you have an idea of what Dusklight is, how it came to be, just so you can enjoy it more, really. I think lore building is really important. If you just look at Fallout, for example, Fallout does a brilliant job consistently with every release in the past of giving you little stories about people here and there. And these seemingly little stories can change your perception of the whole world. And I think it's really, really, really important. So we'll be giving you a lot of lore stuff, lots more information, a lot more content, and hopefully just a lot more fun.